So hello guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to Tactical Track Forward, and this is our very first video in this channel, and we're going to be talking about how Manchester United can be able to navigate their bad times using the Inter Milan 2010 treble winning team as a point of contact. So we're going to use before we talk about Man United, we want to use the Inter Milan blueprint to actually talk about how Man United can be able to navigate their hard times. And so firstly, before we start this video, I want you guys to like, share and subscribe to this channel, as we are trying to reach 1k subscribers at the end of this year. So I would like you guys to share, to like and to subscribe. So diving into the video, we want to talk about how Inter Milan moved from one of the pinnacles of Europe to one of the most dreaded teams in Europe. So the Inter Milan treble winning team was managed by Jose Mourinho, where he came in, succeeded Roberto Mancini, and then he built his own squad, and then he won the treble with Inter Milan. And he had like a strong locker room. He had one of the best players in the world you could possibly ask for. He had Milito, Pandev, Eto'o, he had Snyder, he had Cambianso, Zanetti, Chivos, he had Materazzi, he had Malcolm, he had Julio Cesar, he had Lucio, he had a lot of wonderful players, and he had a lot of leaders in that locker room as well. So after winning the treble, Mourinho had to leave to Real Madrid to embrace another challenge, even though he originally didn't want to leave. So he left to embrace another challenge, and it's going to shock you guys that after Jose Mourinho left, Inter Milan made a total managerial change of 11. And those managers, I think the highest that stayed was actually 2 years. The highest manager that actually stayed in Inter Milan after Mourinho left actually stayed for like 2 years. And those 11 managerial changes included legends like Roberto Mancini, Claudio Ranieri, and Rafael Benitez just immediately after Jose Mourinho left. So these are the kind of managers that they had, but still they never succeeded until Antonio Conte actually came along. So I wanted to dive into the squad that was inherited by Simone Inzaghi before. I wanted to actually speak about the squad that was inherited by Antonio Conte before he left, and then Simone Inzaghi actually transformed the squad to what it is today. So guys, let's dive into the squad of Antonio Conte before Simone Inzaghi came out. So I did like a rough sketch here to give you an insight of actually what happened. And when Antonio Conte took over, he had a squad of Lautaro Martinez, Lukaku, Perisic, Eriksen, Barella, Brozovic, Hakimi, Bastoni, Skriniar, Stefan De Vrij, and Handanovic. So why am I actually bringing this? Because I'm actually using Inter Milan because they are actually using a more similar formation like Manchester United. Antonio Conte was setting up in a 3-4-3 formation even when he was in Chelsea, and he set up in a 3-4-3 formation. And one important characteristic of this formation is that your fullbacks and your attack and your midfield has to be really on point. And this was the background on which Antonio Conte built on. And so when Simone Inzaghi came in, he didn't actually make much change, because from my calculation here, I think Simone Inzaghi actually bought a total of 40 players since 2021 till date. So he has not really bought a lot of players because he has limited budget and all that. But back to what I was saying. Why am I bringing up this? I'm bringing up this because I want to really give you guys an insight of what and how this formation can be actually important. Because when Mourinho left, I think the next manager that came brought in also a 3-4-3 formation, and Inter Milan was actually really shattered. They had the formation that did not reflect the team anymore, and I think I have their formation of 2013-2014 season. So after Jose Mourinho left, they lined up in 3-4 years later. They lined up in the 3-4-3 formation, deviating from the 4-3-3 formation that was initially used. So they had a front of Milito and Palacios, they had Nagatomo, Alvarez, they have Guarin, they had Cambianso, Jonathan, Juan, Ranochua, and Pankenagro, also Handanovic in goal. This formation, if you want to play the 3-4-3 formation, you actually need to have competent players that can be able to fight for their lives, players that can be able to fight for the team. And if you look at the treble winning squad and the quality of players that they had there, 4 years later, that is not the kind of players that Inter Milan had. You could see from the attack, from the defense, the quality of players was no longer the same. And actually, this is the same with Man United. That's why I'm bringing up this. And I've actually liked the fact that Amorim has decided to stick with this formation, decided to suffer for this season, and let us enjoy in the long run. And let me call the names of the 11 managerial changes that was made, including Simone Inzaghi and Antonio Conte, before Inter Milan started enjoying success from Antonio Conte. So they made a managerial change of Rafael Benitez, Leonardo. They made a managerial change of Andrea Stramaccioni. They made a change of Walter Mazzarri, Roberto Mancini, Frank De Boer, Stefano Pioli, Stefan Vicic, Luciano Spalletti, Antonio Conte, and now Simone Inzaghi. These are, you cannot tell me that all these managers were not wonderful managers, but they actually failed in Inter Milan. Why? Because they were not given the chance, the quality of players that they would need to actually succeed. And this, like I said initially in this video, these managers did not spend up to 3-4 years in this team. They actually spent 1 or 2 years because of the high expectations of the fans. And also Inter Milan, let's not forget that Inter Milan had a lot of issues. They had stadium issues, they had financial issues, they had ownership issues. So it was hard to build the club. And this is the similar situation Man United is facing. We have an ownership problem, given the fact that if Qataris had bought Man United, it would have been easy to transform Man United. But given the fact now that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has actually bought Man United, we still have the same problems because the debt is not cleared off. We are still having issue with PSRO. Manchester City bought a total of 4 players in the January transfer window of worth £200 million, and they are about spending that same amount of money or even more in this summer. This is how ambitious clubs work. And if Man United actually want to move forward, this is the kind they need to actually be ambitious in the transfer window, which I feel that wouldn't be the case this summer, because I know that Man United might not be actually able to get what they want. And if you guys look at Frank, guys look at Frank in Twitter, he actually had a message from a Sporting Lisbon fan that actually highlighted how Amorim navigated the tough period in Sporting Lisbon and bought a total of how Amorim actually navigated the dark period in Sporting Lisbon history and won their first trophy in 19 years. So I advise you guys to look up to Frank in Twitter. I think you're going to get more insight about what that is all about. And so when Simone Inzaghi inherited the squad of Antonio Conte, he actually just made a few changes. He brought in Di Marco to replace Perisic. He also got in Augusto from Monza. He got in Chalanolo. He got in Fratesi. He got in Mkhitaryan. He got Barella was still there. He brought Zalewski. He brought Dumfries from PSV. He brought Achebe. He brought Damian. He brought Pavard. He brought Andre Onana, but he left. They brought Soma. They brought Bisek from Switzerland. So I think in the case of Man United, it's not just about spending money. I think it's about spending wisely, because I can put it to you that nobody knew Bisek before now. But Bisek right now is one of the most exciting talents in world football. Just like the Mazraoui signing, he was bought for just 12 million, but I think he's worth more than, I think apart from Lenny Euro, nobody has actually performed more like Nusair Mazraoui this season. And I think this is kind of signings we want. We don't want the fancy signing. We don't want the big signing, but we just want a signing that can be able to transform the team. And I think if Man United actually want to succeed, I think we should be able to buy a total of 5-6 players, because I think the issue of Man United is not just about the quality of the players. I think it's the mentality of the players, because I know on paper we have a more better team than Brighton, than Bournemouth, than the other teams that are ahead of us, than Everton, than Wolves. But they are ahead of us because they have this fighting spirit. They want to work for the coach. They want to work for the manager. They want to represent the team. And this is the issue that Man United is facing. So let's go over to the squad. Let's go over to the squad that was inherited by Erik Ten Hag. I highlighted everything here, and I will want to know the thoughts of you guys in the comment section. So the squad that Erik Ten Hag, that Ruben Amorim inherited from Erik Ten Hag, we were set up in the 4-3-3 formation, and so we had Højlund, Rashford, Garnacho in both wings, Bruno, Meno, Ugarte, Shaw, Martinez, Delete, Dalot. And so guys, you have seen the squad that was inherited by Ruben Amorim. So back to the question of this video, we want to know how to navigate, how Manchester United can navigate bad time. This is our current squad. We had Højlund, Bruno, Ahmad, Dogu, and Dalot on the wing backs, Casemiro and Ugarte. We have Martinez, Maguire, Delete, and Onana. So men looking at this squad, what do you actually think that can be able to transform this Man United team? I watched a lot of analysis before Ruben Amorim became the coach of Manchester United, and I got to find out that the key characteristics of this formation is the wing back position, the midfield, and the attack. I know that the defense is also important, but we have a lot of depth in the defensive department. Even though I know that we might be plagued with injury next season, but we have a lot of players in the defensive department. But now heading over to the wing backs department, I personally think that Diego Dalot should be sold. He cannot, even if he is going to be in Man United next season, I think he should not be the starting wing back. Dogu has potential, he's good, but I don't think he should be starting week in, week out. Casemiro might likely leave. Meno doesn't have the athleticism for now to play this central midfield role of Ruben Amorim, and he has also not really impressed in the number 10 position. So I think for now, this player should not be starting. I think we need two central midfielders, a defensive midfielder and a central midfield. We need Ahmad maybe might be deployed to the wing back, and maybe Dalot or any other person as the backup, and then we need a starting left wing back, because definitely Diego Leon is going to come this summer, but I don't think Diego Leon is ready either. It's going to be very raw. Then that being said, let's move over to the attack. Bruno obviously takes his slots, and then Matthias Cunha takes the left end. And then definitely I'm not a fan of Liam Delap, so I'm not putting Liam Delap in this formation. I think we need a striker like Gyökeres, maybe Benjamin Šeško, or maybe Isak. I know that we don't have the financial capabilities to do this kind of signings, but I think the least we can get is Gyökeres or Osimhen. But I think Osimhen package is like 100 million in total, given the release clause, salary, agent commission, and fee. I think that will not really be advised, maybe because of unless we win the Europa League, and maybe we'll be in a more financial position, or maybe a better position financially. So I think this is what I feel that Man United should do this transfer window: attack the central midfield, attack the wing back positions, and attack the striking positions. I think subsequently we can be able to work on the defense, but for now, these are the key positions I feel that Man United should work on. And I think, guys, given that Ahmad is going to start in the right wing back position, I think we should focus on the left wing back position, a central midfielder and a defensive midfielder, making Meno and Ugarte to be the backups that are going to provide depth. I think Ugarte is okay, but I don't think he's ready to start for Man United week in, week out. And then Bruno obviously takes the right 10, Cunha left 10, and then a suitable striker that elevates the team. And then we focus on the goalkeeper. I forgot to mention the goalkeeper. We need a really good goalkeeper, even if he's not really good with his legs, but we need a showstopper, just like David De Gea. And so I think we should recruit more smartly and not just wasting money. And I think these are the ways Man United can be able to navigate that hard times or dark times recently. And I think this is just my idea. I just drafted a blueprint using Inter Milan as a case study, because they had a similar rough time like Manchester United. So this is what I feel, guys. And if you have any similar opinion, I want you guys to comment, to like, to share, to subscribe, and let me know about your opinion. I'm also going to make more research and more videos about Manchester United and how Ruben Amorim and Manchester United can be great again.